You're listening to the After the Show movie podcast from ascully.com. You can find this podcast on the iTunes Music Store, Google Play, YouTube, voice assistants. Just say listen to After the Show movie podcast. And you can also find us on ascully.com, where we post written reviews. With that out of the way, here are your hosts, A Scully and Sid Talk. Hello, Sid Talk.
Hello.
It feels like only yesterday we did a podcast.
Or day before yesterday.
Yeah.
It's crazy how time works.
And here we are again. Yeah. So what are you thinking about before the after the show? Oh, we just had a storm roll through.
That's what I was thinking about. What was the before the after the show discussion? Me going out on the deck, clamping a big sheet of plastic, gathering all of my plants under said sheet of plastic and crossing my fingers to hope that they are not destroyed by Mother Nature. She's such a wicked thing.
Yeah, we just had a like a wind, very hard wind and some rain just fly through. Even though it's
supposed to be hail, but we haven't had hail. They don't care about the weather, but it's more about me and my plants. I mean, I feel bad for me.
If they don't care about the weather, I'll just explain some other things. One, you have. You've done gardening for a few years. This year, you're hardening your plants off outside now. I'm assuming you're going to plant them in the next few days.
Correct.
But often, I go in the kitchen and you are talking to the plants.
And what is your point?
And
what do I say? What are the things you recall me saying to these plants?
You're kind of talking to the plants as though, like, if we had a cat or a dog, it'd be the same thing you'd probably be saying to the cat and the dog, right?
And if people knew me, they'd be like, she is not an animal person. She would not want an animal.
There was a cute dog hanging around this morning, and you weren't very welcome into the cute dog.
It wasn't cute. It was just a raggedy, looked like somebody's dog, and I said, fuck off. You are not, no. I'm not a dog person. Goodbye. And he looked at me like, why are you talking to me like that? Why aren't you baby talking?
Everybody else baby talks me.
I mean, if they're injured or something, or someone was trying to be mean to them, I'd be the first one to intervene and try to help the poor thing. But not just wandering around my yard like he owns the place.
You even had a dog friend when we went cycling the other day, didn't you? On the trail.
Stuck around with me for a while, and I was saying the same thing, like, please go away. I want to be alone. I don't want to be dog company.
You don't actually know what you're saying, I guess.
The tone is what matters, I think.
All right, so that was our before the after the show discussion. It is Saturday, May the 18th. This is after the show 582. We're looking at a new movie this week, which is what we do every week. We're a movie review podcast. We're looking at the Lego Movie 2, the second part. And it's a 2018 movie. It's actually out on Blu-ray and 4K. Now it's rated PG. Is it rated PG? I put down PG, just assuming it is.
I don't know.
Yeah, it actually is rated PG for mild action and rude humor. I don't recall any rude humor.
I don't either. No. Well, people are sensitive, so...
Yeah. It's from our friends at Warner Brothers, who sent us a copy for review, and Sid Talk will give you the synopsis of the Lego Movie 2, the second part.
There you go. I think you just summed it up.
Right, so I don't remember exactly when the first Lego Movie came out, do you? Even though this movie takes place 5 years after that movie, mostly.
Like the actual movie, the story in the movie is 5 years later, yeah.
Yeah. Let me just give it a check over here. I don't feel like the actual movie.
You did not do much research here. You weren't sure what the rating is. You don't know when it was made.
2014, the original movie.
That's 5 years.
It actually is. Okay. Nicely done,
They're
Lego
geniuses,
movie people.
those people.
Why'd you wait 5 years to make a sequel for a very successful movie?
Well, you have to farm your money making carefully.
Yeah. These guys were trying to make Solo for Star Wars, but
we know how that turned out.
They were busy.
I won't be a Solo hater. I did not love it, but I definitely didn't love Chewbacca as a man-eater.
And I have to say, you know how big a Star Wars fan I am.
Correct.
I have not rewatched Solo. I've only seen it once.
That's unusual.
And I've seen all the others multiple times.
That's very unusual.
Yeah. I mean, I should watch it again, I guess. Maybe I like it more. I don't know.
I mean, if me talking to living things like plants is weird, you sitting and just rerunning A New Hope over and over, that's not weird at all?
No.
No, absolutely not.
All right. So,
embrace your weirdness.
This is the second part of the Lego movie. In the first installment of the Lego movie, what happens, Sid Talk?
In the what? In the first installment?
Yes.
Just a bunch of action and stuff? What do you mean? I'm not reviewing the first one.
No, I mean, like, because this one is a continuation of that one. All right, so spoilers.
Yes.
For the first movie. In the first movie, the Lego world, as you see, is actually the kids are playing with Lego in the real world. And it manifests itself as this cartoon world that you're watching. And all hell breaks loose within the Lego world because you know the way kids play with toys, and Legos break apart, so, you know, one kid can drop a Lego on the floor and it's destroyed, right? So everything was, in the first movie, going to be destroyed, and, you know, at the end, it's all saved, and everything is awesome. There's a song.
I'm not sure if you're doing a good job here.
All right, you do it.
I'm not going to do it. I'm just saying. I don't understand. You start off explaining it's a kid's toy, and then it's all going to get destroyed. How? What was the story?
There's an evil tyrant in the... Oh, what it actually is the dad, remember, in the movie, wants to glue the Lego bricks together so they don't break apart. But the kids want to play with the bricks as is. Like, they want to be able to break them apart.
Just the son.
The son.
Because that's pivotal to the second part.
And make whatever he wants. Creativity. But the dad's point of view is you make the set and then you glue it and then it's always the set, right? So
because it's the dad's table of Legos. It's not the kids.
Right.
This thing downstairs you were saying for kids, it wasn't. It was the dad. He had built all of it himself. And the kid was not even supposed to play with it, remember? So
the dad is the baddie.
Yes.
The first one. So it takes place in our world and in this Lego world. And then everything is saved and the song, everything is awesome. And then this new one, 5 years later, what has happened to the Lego world?
What has happened is because he let the son start playing, he now says, and your little sister. And it's like, what? Which is bad, apparently, when a little brother has big brother has a little sister come to play with his toys. And then we move into the Lego world where we see it from their point of view, and it's like Armageddon, almost Armageddon. It is a Mad Max world. Everything's all destroyed and disgusting, and they've all toughened up.
Yep.
It's not like a pretty happy world anymore.
And little sister, being younger than the brother, is playing
always
with the...
little sisters are always littler.
She's playing with the Diplo, is it called? Or
Duplo.
Duplo.
When she's little, yeah.
And those manifest themselves as the baddies. So they're the more crude.
Which is funny.
They're big and chunky and kind of sweet. They're all sweet, but they're all evil in
Actually,
this, right?
she has all kinds of toys. That was kind of the point. That she had loads of different things, and his was all just Legos.
You know the toys where there's loads of characters in this. There's even a Wonder Woman. The ones where the legs don't move at all.
Yes, I love those.
What series of toys are those a Lego thing as well?
No, I think that's just a generic action figure.
Right, so there's those
just showing different kinds, yeah.
So she kind of, like, into the mix throws all her toys in.
Exactly.
But, like, they're all really sweet. It's all sickly sweet things, like stars with lovely little faces on that say, hey, I love you, but they actually explode and kill you. Like that kind of thing.
Correct.
I guess there's no killing. Your Lego blows up. So I really enjoyed that concept of the Mad Max world and the especially the little sister being the baddie. But then you could say, well, that's not fair. The little sister's the baddie, but it's kind of right, isn't it? It's kind of how it works a lot.
Right, but ultimately that's not really what's going on.
But like the older,
Spoiler.
like in the real world, like the older kid wants to play with the toys, and then the little sister will come and just it'll be annoying, and she'll break all the toys up, and
correct.
The bigger brother will be like, "Get her off my toys!"
And refuse to play with her on her level. Is the entire point of this movie, is that as you grow up, you don't have to turn into a dickhead. You can still hang on to your fun sense of adventure and cuteness, and not just want to destroy everything.
And it's also the point of the first movie, where the dad has kind of moved. He still does the Lego, but he wants to glue it. The son just wants to have fun with the Lego.
True.
So it's the thread throughout the whole thing. And I really like that. And you know what? I like where these movies transition from the Lego world to the real world. And then you have the actors playing with the toys. And I don't think that in either movie they do it enough, because I think it's really fun every time they do it.
Mm-hmm.
And they use it really sparingly. Maybe,
I think that's good though, because it's a Lego movie, isn't it? Not a real life movie.
Right, but I feel I do like the scene, in this one. Maya Rudolph is the mother and I do like the scenes with her. And the Lego's still in the scenes because it's there on the table, and you can see all the characters you know and love.
See, for me, I'd cut them all out. I would have no humans.
Right, and I really like how it mixes the humans in with the Legos.
Mm.
But in this one, it was really sparingly done. I guess in the first one it was, because it was kind of a reveal at the end, wasn't it? It wasn't actually a thing that ran all the way through it.
I don't know. As you say that, I have to watch it again because I don't think that's right.
I think it happened in the last third of the movie, where it zoomed out onto the table and you were like, oh, they're playing with there's people playing with Legos.
I'm not sure.
So in this one, it actually they travel into this. It turns into a space movie of sorts, and there's some time travel involved, and lots of references to things and funny things where in this new Lego movie, in the old Lego movie, if you remember, there was Pirates of the Caribbean, there was Star Wars, there was Marvel characters. In this one, because things have kind of changed over 5 years, and now Disney are a bit more protective of their things, those things are missing, and just the DC stuff and Warner Brothers properties are in there now. But they have a laugh with that, don't they? They kind of make fun of it. I saw the Wizard of Oz in there, which was cool. Did you see other Warner Brothers things? There's things all over the place. I feel like I missed stuff.
I don't think I'm that observant. Just like when we watched Ready Player One, I don't think I really caught all the different stuff that was coming at the screen. In
the way Ready Player One operates with all its stuff, this Lego movie kind of does it too. And sometimes I feel a bit overwhelmed. I'm like, oh, in the corner of the thing there, is that something?
That means you have to watch it 50 times.
Yeah, I think that's what you're supposed to do with these kind of movies. But anyway, I really enjoyed it. I liked the story. Let me say spoilers again, because I'm going to spoil something about this movie.
All right.
I liked the Empire Strikes Back type scenario about 2/3 into the movie. Where you think, oh, that's how it ends. And
you don't really think that. You didn't really.
I even said to you, this is not.
Nah.
I mean, it cuts to basically everything isn't bad, and then it says the end, and they do leave it on the end for a little bit, and then it gets better. I really like that. I like the way it felt. It feels really uplifting then, because they do sing a song. There are a few songs in this. Did you like the songs?
Yeah, of course, because you're just like, da, 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 da.
Yeah, there's silly songs.
You can't help it,
Everything is awesome. I don't think any songs in this beat that song. That song is also in here too. But I don't think any of the new songs are quite as earwormy as that. Even though there is a song in this movie that is meant to just be an earworm, right? What was the song called? This is a song that you will stick in your head or something. I mean, it was built for you, but guess what?
But we forgot it.
The movie's ended and everything is awesome is in my head. That's the one I'm thinking of. So
they've tricked you just right.
Yeah. But it actually has a fair few songs in it. They're all really funny. There's one about, there's a plot thread in here where Batman, yes, Batman is in this movie.
Batman.
is, they're arranging, the little sister, basically, in the real world, is, playing with Batman and playing with this other creation that she's made. And there's going to be a wedding between like little sister going to marry Batman to. And there's this song that this creation sings about that she doesn't like Batman. She's not in love with Batman.
Well, she's not evil, and she's not terrible.
There's that, and the Gotham. I don't like Gotham City guys. I think it's called.
Yeah.
Where she's like, I like Superman, and he's kind of getting all jealous. Like, oh no, you like me.
Why don't you like me?
Why don't you like me? I'm better than him. Like I don't have to rely on what did he say? I don't have to rely on the sun. I've got my gadgets and money.
Her words are, you're just a rich man with a bunch of gadgets. You can't actually fly.
So
it's all cute. It's just cute.
It's cute. And I think more, with these kind of movies where it's like pop culture reference and joke that might be an internet joke, might be a joke about a movie that you've seen, or there's a lot of stuff flying at you. I think more often than not, they hit on this one. I was laughing a lot. I was like, oh yeah, I get what they're saying with that. And that song even goes into all the different Batman. Like how she says, I even liked it when it was Christian Bale.
Exactly. She talked about Michael Keaton. I liked it when he was Beetlejuice. Yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff flying at you. And, kids are not going to get all of that. So it's kind of built for both. It's built for adults and kids. And who hasn't played with Lego? Really? Come on.
Somebody hasn't, but I get what you're saying.
Most people have, haven't they, at some point?
I mean, I never had Legos. Ever.
Well, I'll tell you my thing with Lego.
My brother, when he grew up, started buying lots of Legos. And he's one of those with the tubs full of each individual color and a pool table that he has modified with a big piece of plywood over the top that has a pulley where you can pull it up to the ceiling when you're not building Legos and lower it down. So he really got into it, but I never really did unless I went to someone's house who had it.
I've never heard of anything like that. A pulley system of Legos.
Yeah, he had a thing where you could pull a rope and it would lift the big piece of plywood that would rest down on his pool table so he could play pool if he wanted to, but then lift up.
When you can't really remember when you was a kid, can you? I can't. I don't, as a kid. I can't remember it.
No, not really.
But I do have a memory, and I always remembered it. I was at, in England, it's called play school, which would be like your daycare, I guess. Before preschool, where you're taken to a place and there's a bunch of kids and you play with stuff. You're really little kids. I can remember going to a place, I guess because my mum and dad were at work. They take me to this place for the day, and that place was full of Lego and these things called stickle bricks, which were like plastic bricks that stuck together. They were kind of like fake Legos, but they had a big thing of Legos, and it wasn't very organized. It was just like tons of Lego sets that were smashed up in a box, I guess. And I just remember sitting there all day playing with those Legos. I didn't actually have my own Legos. I don't remember really having them.
Exactly.
But I do remember sitting and playing in that box of Legos and just putting stuff together. Not even specifically making things, just seeing what shapes fit together and stuff. But I do have memories of that. So, Lego. Also, a friend of mine, who I talk to every day, he seems to have got into Lego recently. He built... I think it was the Apollo 11 spaceship, maybe? He'll correct me if I'm wrong. Do you know the big, tall rocket ship? It looked like a lot of pieces. And I've got a couple of Legos here in the house, haven't I? I've got...
Lego sets.
Yeah. We've got a Tatooine...
You're not into the, free flow, give me a bucket and let me make my own thing.
I like to make the sets, yeah. I really do.
So you're the guy who would glue that shit together, man.
I wouldn't glue it together, though. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, but whenever I say I'm going to take these apart, you guys can put them together another time. You're like, no.
I always think I don't know if I could put it back together again without the instructions.
Right, so you'd rather me just glue them together because you will never ever be able to put them back together.
So I have a play set of Tatooine. It's like the Cantina.
It's cute.
Set, and it's got a little sand speeder. And I also have, and this came out I would buy more of this if there was more of it, but there isn't. About a year and a half ago, they brought out a Tron Legacy light cycle set, which I made, and it's really awesome. Tron is my ultimate aesthetic thing, isn't it? I love Tron.
You'd have our whole house in darkness with blue and red lines going over lights.
I love
everywhere.
the blue neon Tron thing. There's something about that I love. And that little set of Lego Tron It just was the best. That's the best thing I've ever
Just two
done.
motorcycles, wasn't it? Two Tron cycles or whatever they're called.
And it's and like I said to you earlier, Lego is so expensive, that thing, and it's so small. It's like...
It is really insidious when you think about it, them pushing this. I mean, movies are just a big commercial. It's fun. I'm not going to deny that. It's a great fun, but it's also just a constant 2-hour, whatever, hour and a half commercial for the product that they're selling. So it's a bit like, when you know people who could not even afford to buy one set of those for their kids.
Did you notice, like, when Emmett is, because he's a master builder, when he's building something, it has the actual numbers on the blocks. So if you paused it and wrote that, it's like 2 times blah blah blah. You could probably pause that screenshot, and get those bricks and make that thing. I thought that was a cool touch.
It is, but again, it's just like it'd be like watching a movie that features everyone drinking Pepsi and trying to say Pepsi saves the day. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It
might not be as much fun, but I'm just saying it's all the same thing.
So yeah. Now, as far as this one being as fun as the first one, I liked I think it might be like a lot of sequels. I think it might be because you've already seen the style of animation and it's not as gobsmacking anymore. Like, when I first saw this Lego movie, the original, I'd never quite seen that stop-motion-y... The way they animate this is... There's no Legos in this. It's not like they're filming Legos and moving them. It's all CG. But it does look like just Lego pieces moving about.
It does, and the parts where, like, they're in the real world, like under the dryer and stuff, I was like, whoa. I mean, it just looks amazing.
Yeah. But, like, the first one really wowed me a lot. Like, technically, I was, like, looking at it all the time, going, whoa, whoa, and Star Wars was in it, so there was things that, like, I was like, oh my god, there's and they play the John Williams Star Wars score when the Millennium Falcon zooms in and stuff. There was obviously a lot of that was missing from this one. But I do think the jokes were good.
I agree.
And the plot was pretty good.
I mean, I know the world is divided right now. If you're listening to this in 50 years or whatever, you won't identify. You'll just read about it in history books. But, you know, there's this like gritty, dark, nasty, horrible, political, horrible side of the world. And then other people are like, can't we all just get along? Can't we all just be happy and sweet and wonderful and not hurt anybody's feelings and be gentle and kind and work together? Like, you have that. I'm mocking it because I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. I'm not 100% into the total cooperation, which is what this movie is preaching. Yeah. You know, it's about being together, working together, and
not losing the childhood part of you.
Yeah, but more than that, it's like a bigger concept of, like, we just need to be nicer in the world. And I get that. I like that. I do like that they did put in a song that was like, everything is not awesome because that's unrealistic expectations, et cetera, et cetera. I love that. And I was like, yes, thank you. But... you know, that's why it feels a bit pushy, even though I get it.
Yeah. But
like, happy, cooperate. Like, at work, you know, they're always trying to push you to cooperate with people. Not cooperate, collaborate. And I'm always like, whatever, just tell me what to do and I'll go by myself and do it, because that's my personality. So this, pushing this idea on me, I get a little bit like, oh, come on. But it's cute enough, I can accept.
And then, you know, actually, like... many kids who are going to watch it. It's a nice message for kids. I do like how it ties the real world of playing with toys to the story. I mean, because playing with toys is a thing kids it's one of the first things you do as a kid, isn't it? When I said earlier there's nobody who's not played with Lego, and you said, oh, there probably is. All right, then I'll rephrase that and say there's nobody who's not played with a toy. I mean, I bet every child has played with a toy, no matter what it is.
I mean, I don't know about the whole entire world and people in different situations.
Some weird
I know you're being hyperbolic and it's fine, but there's going to be children in the world who didn't play with toys, no.
A toy of some kind, something, even if it's a rock off the floor that you pick up and play with, you know?
So we're counting that as a toy.
Well, yeah, you know, something that you play with. You act with it, this is a thing, they have a little fight, they fall in love.
Okay, I can get on board with the rock, yes.
Yeah. So
we can all play with dirt and rocks and sticks.
It's very universal, playing with something.
True.
You know, And this portrays that really well. But like I say, I think I like the first one a bit better, and I think it's because I was wowed by it more. Now I'm like...
Anytime, there's something new.
Yeah, the visuals now, you just take them as a matter of fact. Like, you're like, okay, I know how this looks, and I know how it operates. So the story better be good to keep me. And then I feel like the story, they take it to space this time, so it's more of a, they're in spaceships and...
They're not in space. They went upstairs.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying.
But it's Lego space.
Yeah.
It's higher up than the table. But,
true. It's upstairs.
And it's a really cool, again, that's a really cool, like, visual. Like, they fly through, like, like in Star Wars, like, you go through light speed. When they fly through, you're going, well, where are they going exactly? When they go through the little hole into the normal world, right?
Yeah, they're just going upstairs.
And there was one, like, shot. This is where I was saying there weren't enough shots of the humans. But there was one really cool shot where the brother was holding the spaceship that Emmett was in with Rex. And he was flying it, like, playing it like a toy. And then it zoomed into it, and they were talking inside it.
Yeah, that was like, cool.
Yeah, those things are the things I really think work very well here. But they keep it at a real small... So let's move on to the cast. Chris Pratt plays Emmett again. He's really good. Like, I think he's the right... Because Emmett's character is, like, fairly naive and, like, optimistic, super optimistic, right? Even in the Mad Max town at the beginning, he's going around like, nothing's wrong. Everything is awesome, right?
Yes.
He's like, hey, hello, people are trying to kill him.
Hello, sewer babies.
What else did somebody try to, like, throw something at him, and he's like, oh, how cute. Like that, So he's still a bit naive in that way. But it's really fun.
The other message of the movie is she wants him to change and be tougher and more aggressive. And of course, by the end of it, she realizes, no, that's not what she wants.
She just wants Emmett
to be himself, his kind, generous, sweet self. Which, again, I get it, but...
Elizabeth Banks returns as Wild Style, and she is really cool. They try at first when you see that first shot of her, and she's brooding.
Yeah, that's really cute.
And she's got those red glasses on. I just thought of Rey from Star Wars, the first shot you see of Rey. But I was like, no, they're probably not doing that, right? Because...
Oh, they might.
But she was good. And there's more to her than meets the eye in this story, which I really liked. She's not... what she is in the first one. In the first one, she's almost like Trinity from The Matrix.
Yeah.
She's just cool and badass. But there's another side, another underneath part to her. Alison Brie plays Uni Kitty. It's the internet cat thing. That it's like anime. Did you like it?
It was fine. I'm neutral on that one.
My favorite thing here is Will Arnett as Batman. Batman has all the funny lines in this movie again. And the Lego Batman movie, which was the spin-off from the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Lego Batman movie a lot because I just like that they make fun of Batman, but it's still cool. Like
I feel like they're making fun of Christian Bale's.
Yeah, I do too.
Batman more than anybody else.
But it's really funny. Like it's like Batman is this brooding loner who he doesn't have any fun, but that's how he likes it, and he kind of plays it that way all the time. And he does that funny voice. I mean, it's not supposed to be a funny voice. But if you've not seen the Lego Batman movie, I mean, that's chock to wall full of Batman jokes and superhero jokes. But Will Arnett gets a lot of time in this. Batman is a major thing. And when he's, this wedding that they're planning and stuff, it's just funny. Like, it's really funny. I put down, because this is in the cast, it says Will Ferrell as Dad, but...
Barely.
Will Ferrell's not in this movie, aside from a clip from the old movie.
True.
And at the beginning, because he plays the dad in the real life Lego world in the first movie, and he also plays like the big businessman he's like the tycoon.
He's the president.
Yeah. And what they do in the beginning of this movie is he walks in, and says, "Oh, I'm going off to play golf now. You lot can sort this out." And then he just disappears.
As the Lego character.
Yeah. But they use Will Ferrell's voice is in that. But I bet he says 3 lines and then leaves. And then they make fun of it later on. Because Maya Rudolph's character, she says, what does she say about, like, your dad not...
There's dad's minimal contribution to the situation.
So they make fun of him not being in it, really. Even though he's advertised quite... He even says on the back of the box that, it's like a selling point.
I mean, that's so he can get paid, right? I don't mean to be cynical, but I mean, come on. That's what it's all about.
Maya Rudolph is the mom. I really like that choice. I think she's very funny. And they made her the main thing about, as I said to you, all parents will know, and not even if you're just a kid, when you stand on a Lego brick, it really hurts. They make a joke about mom standing on Lego bricks. That's why she's mad and she wants them to pack all the Lego bricks away.
Well, see, you just kind of blew your wad there because the whole thing they're trying to avoid is Armageddon.
Yep.
Armageddon is she has threatened the children that if you do not get along with each other, I will put away all of your toys.
Correct.
Period. That's Armageddon. I love that. So
and I didn't realize this until the end when you said, but Brooklyn Prince plays Bianca. And Brooklyn Prince is the little girl from the Florida Project.
Yeah.
And, we saw the Florida Project like a year ago, and she's little, and it's really intense and adult, that movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then in this movie, she's the opposite to that. She's just a cute kid who's playing, right? There's nothing adult.
She was a cute kid. She wasn't an adult in that movie either. She was just around.
No, it's actually she was a kid in that other movie, right? She was a little kid.
She's still a little kid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the opposite. Like, in that other movie, she was around adults a lot, and it was kind of a gross situation. This movie is, like, just for kids, right? It's the opposite of that movie. But she was good in both. But there again, she don't speak a lot in this, does she?
No.
It's more like you see her playing with stuff. And Jaden Sand plays Finn, the brother. And the Justice League are in this movie. For a little while. Why do they lose the Justice? Was that something to do with rights?
Don't know.
Because the Justice League are there, and then they go.
Isn't the Justice League DC?
Yeah, which is owned by Warner Brothers.
Right.
But the Justice League are there. Jonah Hill as Green Lantern, Channing Tatum as Superman, the same as what you did in the first movie. And then they all get on a craft and fly off, and then you don't see them again. Well, maybe once at the end. But I was hoping for more DC characters, but they kind of folded them off to the side. I don't know why, because they were a big, massive part of the first one. And maybe they just didn't want the Justice League to save the day. More Emmett has to save the day.
Mm.
And then Chris Pratt also plays another part, Rex, which, you're supposed to not know it's him, but it's obvious it's him.
I think it's obvious. I think it's supposed to be obvious as well.
As soon as that guy talked, I said to you, is that Chris Pratt as well? It was like really instant. It's supposed to be like you're not supposed to know it's him, but it's quite obvious.
I think Emmett's the only one who doesn't know it's him.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is funny.
This is directed by Mike Mitchell. He directed Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo. Remember that one?
Been a while.
It's actually
pretty funny. Yeah.
It is pretty funny, that movie, in a really dumb kind of way. It's funny. Do you remember the movie called Sky High? It was like a Disney movie. Mm-mm. He did that. He also did the animated movie Trolls, which is actually based on those little trolls with the hair, colourful hair. So Lord and Miller didn't direct this one, but they did write it. And they also did. Lord and Miller wrote I love this TV show, The Last Man on Earth. They were responsible for that. Yeah, I think they did a really good job with that. And then it got cancelled, which still to this day boggles my mind. It was so good. And that cliffhanger that they left us on, damn it, with those people coming out of the ground, remember?
Speaking of Will Ferrell.
Yeah, Will Ferrell. He was good in that. While he lasted. The thing about The Last Man on Earth is, if you are a famous person who's not part of the main cast and you come into that show, you won't be in it for long. Because that was the joke, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I like Lord and Miller's stuff. It's irreverent and it's funny. And I don't think, like in this, they don't go overboard. They're not making fun of Donald Trump and all that stuff. It's not getting super sarcastic and silly. It's just based around what it is. And they're not trying to be like clever and Saturday Night Live-ish, is how I feel. They're not doing that. It's just like, no, we're actually for kids, so we don't need to make like political jokes and all that stuff. It's more just, even though it says rude humor, PG, I
can't get what the rude is, but
unless there wasn't even like fart jokes or anything like that, was it? It was.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. Maybe it just went over my head, but I don't know. I didn't
fart jokes going over your head. Interesting.
That's the thing. Lord and Miller don't revert to that. They're not. It's not. Their stuff's kind of fun. Like it's funny, and sometimes you might not get the reference. There were a few things where I was like, "Oh, I don't know what they were saying," but I bet that was an internet joke. So let's go on IMDb. Why will we go on IMDb, Sid Talk?
So you can read the 1-star reviews with your beautiful interpretive voice.
Do you think people who write a 1-star review of this movie are just heartless bastards?
Well, it depends. Depends on the review, but I don't quite understand. But hey.
All right. These are the people on IMDb who hate this movie so much, they went on there and typed up like this.
Tippity type.
Yeah, they got on there and they went...
Oh, they've got a new voice this week.
Yeah, they were real angry. All right, so number 1 from iFish62723.
Okay.
Is that his phone number? Like most of his phone number? All right. I took my nephew to see this. It was awful. I could hardly stand it. It's so stupid. I've seen Howard the Duck and that was way worse. That's it.
That's it. Howard the Duck. You include Howard the Duck from what, 30 years ago? What are you talking about?
All right, let's go for another one.
We're reviewing these reviews, which makes us extra sad. More sad than these people.
From EJ Waff 98363. Again, probably his phone number if you want to give him a call.
Oh my god.
He starts with the title, "What kid would possibly like this movie?" And then he says, "One adult woman actually laughed during the movie, and it sounded like she was trying to overdo it to get her daughter interested. My kid hasn't played with his Lego sets since he watched the movie. It put him off them. Whoever greenlit this movie was an insider threat with a grievance against the company." What?
What? That was a pretty extensive little write-up there. For whatever the hell you were talking about.
Here's a good one. This is from Pierced in S'more.
Okay.
He or she says, don't have the phone number for this person.
Okay.
"I can't even describe how much of a disappointment this movie was, so I'm not going to say anything."
All right. That's like that's perfect. Take the time to say nothing.
All
Our
right.
favorite review.
Jake Prescott says, "This was an awful mess. It's like a cat got hold of the film reel and scratched out all the good bits."
That's I gotta give him credit for being creative.
You actually laughed at his...
I do like that one. I like that one. I don't understand it, but I like it.
I'm going to read this one as it's wrote. This is
as it's written. Okay.
Ian Burns, 82066.
Why do they all have numbers on their names?
He says, "Just a hot mess of colourful, pointless garbage. Will lower IQ and cause ADHD."
All right.
So you better be surgeon's warning.
I feel I have those things now. Yes.
Yep.
My
There's a
IQ
surgeon's
went down.
warning on the Blu-ray. Will cause ADHD. Here's another one. "I could not watch this disaster of a movie," says Male Edward. "I walked out after 30 minutes. Bad plot, bad plot, bad plot." He says it 3 times.
Fantastic.
"Boring as hell, and it's about nothing. My kids hated it as well." Can you imagine them all hating it like this? So enraged.
Dad, we hated that movie. It was so dumb.
And this is the final one, because this one is the icing on the cake.
Okay.
Andre T. Goncalves says, "I would have preferred staring at a black screen that plays Take That songs for 90 minutes.
British.
Yep. That's it. That's his review. All right, so they're the
And the people who love Take That, how do we explain this to them? I love the reviews. It's like, I mean, I don't give a shit what people think about movies because I've watched it and I make up my own mind and that's about it. Which is funny because we do this review. But I just say it every single week, to put that much effort.
And the 1-star reviews are kind of the same every week, aren't they? It doesn't matter what movie it is.
Yeah, it's like the same person is going out there.
I think there's just 5 people who just actually don't watch any movies at all and just go and write those reviews. They've not even seen it. Because they basically just say, this is the worst thing ever. I'm so bored and I walked out.
So you're saying it's a conspiracy?
Maybe.
Okay. That makes more sense. I'm on board with the conspiracy theory. Yes.
All right, so there are some extras on the Blu-ray if you've got kids who just can't get enough of Lego and they just want to watch this over and over and over. There's deleted scenes. There's a...
You say that, but I know you, and you'll watch it a few more times.
Yeah.
Also.
There's a They Come in Pieces assembling the Lego Movie 2, which we watched, which it's more promotional, but it's a lot of interviews with the people. There's a music video, and there's an actual short, which came out in the theaters with this movie.
It's nothing. I mean, I'll be one of those people.
It's at Christmas.
Yeah.
Emmett in the Mad Maxy type village at Christmas time. That's what it is. And it lasts 2 minutes, maybe?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the extras. There's also an audio commentary, which you bet I'll be listening to it.
You bet.
So thanks to Warner, I enjoyed the Lego Movie. I'll be interested to see, will they do more the Lego Movie, or will they do like different, like they did the Batman one? Will they do a DC one or something?
Yeah, but you said, when I was asking about the games, that they ran it into the ground, so...
They did with the video games, yes. There's so many Lego video games, and they progressively got lower in quality. They were awesome at one point, and the Star Wars and the Indiana Jones and the Harry Potter ones even were really good. But then it just started getting progressively worse, almost like, well, I know for a fact, it's not the teams who originally worked on it. It became like, oh, well, there's the template for the Lego game, and here's a movie. Make a game like that.
Yeah.
It just started doing that with it. So,
I mean, we don't know if that's what happened.
There is a game for this movie, but I haven't played it. But there is a Lego Movie, the second part game. So thanks to Warner. If you liked the first Lego Movie, I can't see why you wouldn't like this one. It's not what those people said in the 1-star reviews. It's a lot of fun.
It is.
There's some songs that will stick in your head, and I think it's rewatchable if you're into the Lego stuff. So thank you to Warner Brothers. Next week, we'll be looking at a new movie from Lionsgate starring Olivia Wilde called A Vigilante.
Isn't that every superhero movie?
Yeah, probably. But this one is A Vigilante. We'll be looking at that next week. I'm going movie recommendations. At this point in the show, we recommend some movies. I usually base them on what we just watched. So I'll recommend you the first Lego Movie.
Was that a snotty comment? Because I don't.
I'll recommend you the first Lego Movie, and I'll also recommend you, because Maya Rudolph cropped up in this movie, I'll recommend you Bridesmaids, which is very, very funny.
It is pretty fun.
Yeah, it is pretty funny. Pooing in the wedding dress.
In the street.
In the street.
In the sink, in the toilet. I mean, we all have a bit of poo humor in there, hidden in there.
There's some real poo humor in that one. Yeah, that always sticks with me, though. I can see her.
The poo in the wedding dress always sticks with you.
Yeah, I bet it sticks with her, too. Da-dum-dum. All right, what's yours?
My recommendations are... I got to look at it. And I'm not looking at it because I'm playing Plants vs. Zombies. I started over. The original, right? Is what I'm playing. Plants vs. Zombies, yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of doing things over and over that you enjoy the first time, my recommendations are, and you might be surprised because of your little comment, but Phineas and Ferb, the Disney TV show.
Yep.
I am a grown woman. I am 51 years old. I do not have children, nor do I have grandchildren, or any animal children, or any other children floating around. I'm not a teacher or anyone who has anything to do with children. I don't dislike them. But I love Phineas and Ferb. I think it's really fun. It's really creative. And if you watch it enough in a row, it really sticks in your head, like the themes and the characters and all that. And so if you're looking for anything to do the marathon of, You know?
I'll tell you, whenever it's on, I have a strange urge to eat Doritos.
That's just rude to make fun of Phineas's head like that. And my other one is Toy Story 3. Because even though the other Toy Stories are fun, that one's the one that combines the whole, like, really hitting home the message of growing up or staying a kid.
That's really how to do a sequel, isn't it? That one.
It was good.
Yeah. It's really sad.
What, growing up is sad?
Just the way it happens in the movie. It's like, oh.
Well, that's how it happens.
All right, so I've been playing more Rage 2. It's shooting. You shoot stuff. It's kind of like Mad Max. In fact, here's a bit of trivia for you. Okay. Rage 2 started development as a Mad Max game, but I guess...
I'm sorry, are you telling me this like I'll care?
I guess halfway through... I guess during the development, Mad Max... You know, that Mad Max movie was set a couple of years ago now, at least 3 years ago. Well, they changed it from the Mad Max game and turned it into Rage 2. So if you're playing it and you're thinking, this feels a bit Mad Max, you know, you're in the desert, there's punks and there's cars that have got guns on them and all that sort of stuff. That's why, because it started as a Mad Max game. So if you're a Mad Max fan, maybe you'll like Rage 2. You know what? It's real simple, Rage 2. I've been playing some more sophisticated kind of open world games and stuff with all kinds of different stuff in them. Rage 2 is really taking it back to basics. You got a gun, you got a car, you drive around the wasteland, and every so often there are things to do. And the things to do are shooting people. It's in slow motion, you've got like a Jedi force push. It's kind of crazy, you know, the weapons are really outrageous because it's an ID game. And that's really what there is to it. If you like running into a camp, shooting about 50 guys, and then searching for some treasure, and then driving and then repeating that again, I think you'll really like it. Now, you would be thinking, Sid Talk, that sounds really shitty.
Yeah.
But if you enjoy that kind of loop, just doing that stuff, I think it's kind of fun. Because it moves really fast. You can play it in small bursts, you know, I'll play 20 minutes of it here and there. So it does have its place, but it does feel kind of old-fashioned when you're playing it. Because that's how games used to be. When you got like Doom or Quake, there was no leveling up or like collecting things or any of that. It was just like you run, you shoot, you run, you shoot, run, shoot. That was all it needed, like, to make it fun. So that's Rage 2. The other thing, it's not a game, but...
Imagine the one-star review people writing reviews for those games.
Yeah. I don't know if they... Yeah, they probably do on Steam. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, not enough to it. Wasted 30 minutes of my time.
I wasted 7 hours of my life doing the same thing over and over instead of just not doing it.
So this isn't a video game, but this is a big thing for me this week. Shane Meadows, director... He directed This Is England, the movie, and then the TV series This Is England. He also
was it a movie? Or just on TV?
Originally it was an actual movie.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. And then he did a TV spin-off, they called it, but it's really a sequel, isn't it? I mean, it's the same people. And,
yeah.
And then he also did Once Upon a Time in the Midlands, which you saw as well. Mm-hmm. And I've always had I like his style of filmmaking. There's something really realistic about it. And it's really kind of... It makes you feel a bit on edge, right? It makes you feel something when you're watching it.
Makes you feel awful.
Yeah, it's not
in a good way. Like, It's gut-wrenching.
So
For real.
So Shane Meadows, and he doesn't do a lot of things. The last thing he actually did was he did a documentary about the Stone Roses that was really good, but it was just a documentary about them. But he's got a new show on TV. It's just 4 parts. It's called The Virtues. And it stars Stephen Graham, who you will know from Made in England, because he played Combo in that. What else was he in recently? Line of Duty, if you're a BBC.
No, these are British shows. Yeah.
So The Virtues started this week, episode 1. And you've seen Shane Meadows' stuff. What do you think of The Virtues? Episode 1. Was you happy at the end of it?
I was as happy at the end of that as I was at the end of Manchester by the Sea.
Yes.
If anyone's seen that movie. And for some reason, you and I both, we can sit and watch Lego Movie 2 and just be like, oh, it's really fun. And I mean, I'll pick it apart only because of my more cynical brain and be like, don't preach at me about being happy. Although I like being happy and I think life is grand and all that. And then watch something like The Virtues, and it's digging deep to just make you feel sympathy and empathy and disgusting with yourself and your own choices in the world and with people. And it's, it digs down there, doesn't it? Like, oh. Yeah. And his performance, it's like you're watching, and, it's an alcoholic. He's an alcoholic. So if you've known anyone who's been an alcoholic or a drug addict and in the true throes of alcoholism, not having a good time at the bar or getting high a couple times, I'm talking about the real deal where it's like ripping the fabric of their life apart. That's what this is. And you will, because it hurts so bad in life to see that. And he does it in a way where you're just like, oh my God. You even said, I think he's really drunk. Like, he's so good at it. It just ripped your heart out. But then, the way I see that is, it's hopeful. Because obviously we're telling his story and it can make you really, it's fictional, of course.
Well, interestingly, it's actually...
Oh, yeah, it's based on him,
It's based on Shane Meadows, something that happened to Shane Meadows.
Well, that he was an alcoholic?
Yes.
Okay.
But also the thing that we're leading to happened to him.
Okay.
Whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, from this first episode, I won't spoil it, but there's a secret, isn't there? There's a thing that's...
We don't even know yet. It's
on the horizon somewhere.
Nothing is even alluded to.
Yeah.
It's just some flashbacks of very random moments in his life when he's really wasted. The things that basically torment him to the point of wanting to stay wasted all the time. But we don't know what they are.
And he's taking a trip to Ireland, and he is going to find something out, I guess. But the way Shane Meadows films, he's very improvisy, and he's very long take. He lets a scene play out for like 15 minutes if it needs to. And that's like the scene at the beginning where he goes to his ex-wife's house. Mm-hmm. And it's just like you're sat in a room with people. It doesn't seem like they're acting. It just seems like, we
shouldn't be watching this.
Yeah, I'm just spying on some people.
Yeah.
And when he goes to his son's room and it's just a conversation that feels realistic to me, it doesn't feel like a scripted thing. It just feels like two people having a conversation. And I think that's what he does the best. It makes... This Is England was the same. Do you remember the scene in This Is England, the TV show, where Woody had the massive fallout had a massive row on the tube station platform it turned into a fight. It lasted ages. It was
really.
It was like really insane. But it was like a thing that just went on and on and on. And it's obviously just let the camera roll and just see what happens. And I don't think I think he just he has a script, but it's just a general idea of what they want. But this one, damn. You feel at the end of it, you're like, ugh, I've been hit by something.
It's draining, but it's good, the good kind of draining.
Yeah, it's like...
It's like, okay, I'm not comparing it to this show because it's not like this show, and I'm not trying to... It's a completely different genre of television. But those shows about, like, Intervention, My 600-Pound Life, Hoarders, things like that, when you watch it, sadly enough, it makes a spectacle of the person with this horrible life problem, and yet you walk away going, wow, I feel really much better about myself. And that's horrible to say. I know I'm not the only one, but it's that kind of thing where you just go, wow. And you can evaluate a few things. Now, I was imagining your 1-star review people being like, nothing happens. It's really boring. Can't you?
Yes.
Because it's not like a quick-paced cut from scene to scene to scene.
It's not Line of Duty.
No.
Where it's like, stuff happening like that. It's more like, no, you just following
Which we don't even watch Line of Duty, remember? We only see it through Gogglebox, which is hilarious.
Yeah, there's a show called Gogglebox, which is, we always thought was a really dumb idea in Britain, is a show called Gogglebox. And it's a show of you watching people watch TV each week.
It sounds really dumb.
So often we see a drama show through Gogglebox. So we see maybe 8 minutes of the whole season. but we know exactly what happened.
Yeah, it feels like enough.
So yeah, Line of Duty that Stephen Graham was in. We know exactly what happened and everything about Stephen Graham's performance in that. And it was a bit more fast-moving than this.
I know, and oh my God, that's so funny.
But this one, yeah, it's not that. It's not an action thing. It's a character piece, and it's so well done. You know, when Jonathan Ross, I didn't even know this was coming out. We watched the Jonathan Ross show.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jonathan Ross was interviewing Stephen Graham, and he said, oh, Shane Meadows has made a new thing. I was like, oh.
Why didn't Shane tell me? I'm his biggest fan.
And even Jonathan Ross said to him, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, but this is one of the best things I've seen on TV for a long time.
That's the thing, though. It takes a very specific type of person to say this is the best thing I've seen on TV, because if some people watch it, they'll just be horribly depressed. True. It's not a cheery thing.
No. But for me, it's an event when Shane Meadows makes something, and this is something he's new that he's made. And the rumour is his next thing he's made is going back to This Is England and doing another season of it, where they're like 10 years older, because time's passed since that last one. So, that'll be good. So, what's for dinner, said Doc?
Mashed potatoes to start, and then I don't know.
That's a very starchy dinner.
No, it's not. Potatoes are fantastic.
We had salad yesterday, which was really good. We did.
Okay, we'll have salad. I've got one of those bags of salad, mashed potatoes, maybe a fried egg, maybe a veggie burger. It's yet to be determined. Because it's been hot and I was outside fixing the plants. If you don't know, I like to grow some plants, and then it was hailing and I was going to be hailing. So I buckled down. I expended, we forgot to say, we've ridden our new bikes a couple times this week.
I don't even think we had them at this time last week, did we?
No.
Oh, no, we did the podcast like 2 days ago, so we did.
We talked about it, but we hadn't ridden them yet, I don't think. Had we? No.
No?
Did we? I don't know.
Yeah, we rode them, and then we did the podcast straight after.
Jesus, my mind. Yep, now I remember.
Yeah, so we have spoke about it already.
Sorry, everyone.
Because we would have been really tired, probably.
And hot. Because we were talking about how hot it was because we hadn't turned the air conditioner on.
All right, so
we did.
Ignore us. We're just losing our minds.
Correct. So that's what we're having for supper.
And what's your advice before we leave?
My advice today is another one of those straightforward ones. I was raised in a time back in the day.
Back in the early 1700s.
I'm 51. I was born in 1967. I'm the fourth of 4 children. My mother started having children in 1957. So in this time frame, there was no sunscreen that I'm aware of, at least not in my life. There was no protection from the sun that I'm aware of, at least not from my mother or any of the other women around us. In fact, my mother, her contemporaries, including my sisters and other teenagers and all the women in the neighborhood, would mix, and I'm not kidding, baby oil and iodine. I don't know why.
What?
I have to look it up. I have to look up what used in the 70s to get a tan. And my mother would lay out in the sun for hours after she'd get off work. She worked at a bank, and she'd get off work like at 3. She'd come home, do all the stuff real quick, and then lay out in the sun until she was going to cook supper. And then on Saturday, Sunday, as soon as she got from work from the bank on Saturday, she'd go straight out and lay in the sun if she could. She loved the sun. She'd roll down her top, pull up her top, tuck it in her bra.
Saucy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like a thing to get as much sun. And I told you the other day the story that she said she remembered when I was a kid. And she's like, some woman said to me, because I had like super white blonde hair. And some woman said to her, apparently, aren't you worried about her getting a sunburn? And she said, it just pissed me off. I was like, she's fine. She'll get a little burned and then she'll be tan and she'll be fine. That is the attitude I was raised in. I'm not advocating it. I'm not saying that's the way to be, because that sounds dangerous and people get skin cancer. I get it. However, nowadays we have sunscreen. So I bought sunscreen. I advocate using sunscreen, not for yourself, but for the people who love you. Because you worry about me getting my little sun. You were terrified about my shoulders already getting red.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I bought myself sunscreen at what SPF?
Like 20 or something?
15. And I bought you some SPF, which was?
100.
100.
I'm very pale and British. I need to be pale.
But I don't want to be pale, and I understand the risk. I'm fully grown. I understand now.
And I do want to be pale.
I also need vitamin D, so I have no problem being in the sun, and I'm kind of going old school on this, and I hope I never have to. I'm knocking on wood that I never have to now admit that I end up with some kind of skin cancer, melanoma. I don't want to. I have had friends who've had it, and I think my mother has had it, in fact. But so there you go. Wear sunscreen, if not for you, for the people who love you, so they don't have to worry about you.
Riding the new bikes is really fun too.
It is.
Really cool bikes. And,
I'm into it.
But, apart from it being like a bit too hot both times.
Well, I mean, you're kind of sensitive.
Well, it was 86.
It's not that hot. We've ridden when it was 110.
That's hot for me. 86.
Wait till it gets to
I remember when we did ride when it was 110, and it looked like you were going to pass out.
I got really bad. I did throw up one day. Remember when we stop at these spots? It's along the Missouri River, and so there's like benches and there's little places where you can sit and you see a big, nice view of the river. You always go past me anyway, so you had taken off, and I felt this like and I got sick, and it wasn't even like throw up hardly. It was like the water I'd been drinking.
So that's overexertion or something.
I think that's dehydration. Maybe a bit of a sunstroke, because I don't wear my helmet all the time either.
I always wear the helmet.
You're like Mr. Helmet, sunscreen of 100.
Gloves.
Everything. Well, I have my gloves, but that's just because it compresses my hands and I don't rest so much on them. But I'm not very into the safety stuff, I guess. It's not really my vibe.
I bought you a helmet and you barely
I have worn it. And when it is really hot and sunny, it is the best time to wear it. To be honest, because with my super white hair still, it's getting white and blonde.
What I love about
my scalp gets really burned.
I love about those helmets is the visor on the front. It keeps the sun out of your eyes.
It doesn't really. It doesn't me.
Oh, it does for me.
I don't keep it down low enough, maybe.
It's really good. So wear a helmet, kids.
Wear a helmet. Wear sunscreen.
Don't do what Siptar does.
Yeah. Wear your seatbelt, which I do. I am a huge seatbelt fan. In fact, my mother is the one that gets in the car. I start the car. I won't move. She keeps her purse on her lap. She's 77, as they do. Keeps her purse right there. And I'll sit there and I'll think, I'm not telling her this time. I am not telling her this time. And then I'll start to move the car really slow, like back out of a parking spot or something, or back out of my garage. She's just talking away with her purse clutched to her lap like somebody's going to come along and steal it, right? And then I wait till the seatbelt bing bong thing goes off. She still doesn't do it. And I'm like, put your seatbelt on. Oh, hell, I hate that thing, blah, blah, blah. And then she gets all flustered and puts her purse on the floor, gets her seatbelt buckled, picks up her purse, and clutches it again. It's like, could we all be more cliche? I don't think so, but I am a seatbelt fan.
All right, so that is your advice for this week. I don't need to tell you everything because it tells you at the beginning of the show now. How good is that? I saved myself loads of work.
How my ass.
That? So yeah, just
covering up those plants was work.
Just go to ascully.com. Everything, all the details are there about this website, about this podcast. Email feedback to me at ascully@ascully.com. And what else to talk? Catch you on Instagram.
Yeah.
The other thing is
Instagram if you like pictures of plants and my face.
Everything.
I mean, I can't imagine, but I get a few loves and likes from the people who already love and like me. That's all I care about.
And stay classy. Everything is awesome. And Lego. Always play with Lego. It's cool. I'm not a Lego shill, by the way, but always play with Lego.
And I'm going to say, think for yourself, or somebody will do it for you. Think for yourself, or somebody will do it for you. Let's get it going. Get the earworm going. Think for yourself, or someone will do it for you.